Design Biology, Forensic Evaluation Protocol, DBFEP. Meanings and Principles. Reference Sheet version 1.0, Work in Progress, January 2026. This sheet explains the main science lenses and philosophers used in DBFEP. It gives the standard meaning of each one and the exact principle the protocol takes from it. The goal is to keep audits fair and repeatable. Every answer stays tied to text anchors. No motive reading occurs. Core science lenses. Forensic reasoning dissects claims by separating fact from inference, tracing support chains, stating assumptions, and requiring failure tests with source tracking. The protocol treats passages as testimony. It types sentences, chains evidence to assumptions and hinges, and documents what is shown versus what is asserted. Systems theory studies holes where function emerges from part interactions, interfaces, feedback loops, and thresholds under constraints. For function claims, the protocol maps required parts, interfaces, control loops, and integration thresholds. Missing maps count as an overview, not a demonstration. Information theory quantifies signals over noisy channels using entropy, capacity, coding, error correction, and fidelity, without involving semantics or intent. The protocol treats information as a control state in a noisy channel. It requires storage, transmission, noise reduction, correction, and fidelity for regulatory claims. Capacity and constraint analysis tests whether something can perform a task by showing outputs under constraints, such as rates, errors, resources, and coordination. The protocol separates story from capacity. Level 5 sufficiency needs a pathway, intermediates, metrics, constraints, and disconfirmers. Severe testing holds that evidence is strong when a test could have exposed an error if the claim were false. Risk and failure criteria define severity. The protocol requires hinges for inferences, rewards risk, and penalizes immunity or closure without failure paths. Public policy and program evaluation use a logic model to scale interventions, specifying goals, outputs, metrics, constraints, and stop rules. The protocol treats mechanism claims as scaling programs. It requires the model or flags them as framing, not a severe test. Philosophy of Science Modules. Popper emphasized falsifiability. Scientific claims must risk refutation by stating what evidence would disprove them. The protocol forces hinges for inferences. Missing hinges means weak strength. Kuhn described paradigms. Science operates in stable frameworks until anomalies cause a crisis and a shift. Data can be reinterpreted across paradigms. On level 5 to 7, claims the protocol checks if gaps are patched or the core is risked with hinges. It flags normal science defense. Lakatos viewed science as research programs. A core is protected by a belt of auxiliaries. The program is progressive if the belt yields new predictions, and degenerating if it relies on ad hoc patches. The protocol identifies core and belt, tags ad hoc versus progressive moves, and flags a lack of novel predictions. Feyerabend advocated methodological pluralism. No single method should dominate. Pluralism and rule-breaking enable progress. The protocol flags method monopolies or rival exclusions without tests. It demands alternative paths to count as evidence. Laudan focused on problem-solving effectiveness. Rationality comes from solving more empirical and conceptual problems than rivals. Progress occurs by minimizing residuals. The protocol requires a ledger of problems solved and residuals. It flags a lack of comparative advantage or unadmitted trades. Sociology and Science Technology Society modules. Bloor's strong program and symmetry principle explains true and false beliefs with the same causes. No special status exists for accepted views. The protocol demands symmetric treatment of one's own and rival claims. It flags social uptake as an evidential substitute. Latour's actor network theory holds that knowledge builds through chains of human and non-human actors. Black boxes hide transformations. The protocol maps inscription chains. It flags hidden links and contest points. It demands fact-making work. Collins studied tacit knowledge. Science depends on unstated skills. Replication needs craft transfer beyond text. The protocol flags hidden tacit elements. It demands acknowledgement of replicability risk. Pickering described the mangle of practice. Knowledge comes from resistance and accommodation between theory, materials, and instruments. The protocol checks named resistance and tuning. It flags smooth, idealized processes, shape and examine trust and credibility. Science relies on social trust networks and witnessing norms. The protocol maps credibility signals. It flags implicit trust as a substitute for a hinge. Feminist and critical modules. Haraway developed situated knowledges. Knowledge is partial and embodied. The view from nowhere is a rhetorical move called the God trick. The protocol demands a standpoint and partial ownership. It flags unowned objectivity. Harding's advanced standpoint epistemology. Marginalized positions reveal blind spots. Strong objectivity comes from position reflexivity. The protocol examines dominant standpoints. It flags insights that are excluded or unacknowledged benefits. Power knowledge module. Foucault explored discourse and power knowledge. Truth is produced in discourses that exclude alternatives. Power shapes what counts as knowledge. The protocol maps exclusions and disciplinary effects. It flags rules that block disconfirmers. How DBFEP decides when to use each. Modules run only on level 5 to 7 claims, closure, necessity, immunity, or authority swaps. Every answer requires an anchor phrase and a field. The text-bound principle keeps the audit grounded in the passage. A 3-module cap limits to the most relevant per passage. This sheet keeps labels clear and principles focused. It serves as Appendix C in the complete protocol. The method rewards claims that risk failure and own their limits. It flags when confidence comes, from framing instead of tests. The result is a more precise reading for anyone who applies it. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and leave a comment.